Thank you so much for coming to this meeting today. We want to welcome all of you and those following this presentation through the webcast. Thank you so much for your time. We are 3 colleagues today from Vinnova. They're going to present what we want to do in China this month. We have Lauren, head of the Life Science Department, and my colleague Eric Walgren, responsible for the Traffic Safety Center in China and other issues as well. We will try to inform you what we're doing today and what we plan to do the closest months in China. As you know, very few words about Vinnova. We want to keep a leading position in the world in research and development and innovation, so we can continue to be a country attractive for investments and for entrepreneurship. If we talk about Vinnova in short, we are responsible to the Ministry of Enterprise and Innovation. We invested around 3 billion Swedish crowns last year in different projects. We are the national contact point for several programs in the EO framework program. More than 200 people working. We have 3 people in Brussels, 1 in Palo Alto, and 1 in Israel. So most of us are here, and are completely new. Young director is Mrs. Daria Isaacson. As you know, there are countries that are growing, that are becoming richer. The new emerging economies, China, India, Brazil, Russia, and other countries as well, and they are at the same time increasing the share of research, development, production, papers, publications, conferences, innovation, because they see innovation as a key tool to become a leading economy in the world in the future. If we before wanted to create by ourselves products and services for the world, because we knew best, now we know what we need to do it together with them, with those that are going to buy our products and services, and they are there, in China, in Brazil, in Russia. At the beginning, many of these countries start to copy what we're doing, but that's only the beginning. It's not to think about all the time will be the same way. It's only the beginning. They copy. They did Japan, they did China, and now other countries. And before, of course, we had very intelligent people, Ericsson and other, developing new products. I worked for Ericsson as well, so I'm very proud of the technology developed in Sweden in the wireless sector. But we have new groups of people that are working in innovation. Yes, you see very young people, universities, the science parks, business incubators, and how going to influence the retired people, the big countries like China, what products are needed in the market. That's an open question. What we want to do is to help the Swedish actors to have a good network in the world with leading producers of innovation or products and research, and because that will help us together with them to produce new products that we call co-development. It's not that we're going to learn them what to do, it's that we want together with them to produce the new products and services, the new innovations should be done together with them. And that's a point, because before some countries, when we met them, they claimed that, okay, but several countries are coming here, they want to learn us what to do. And it doesn't work. We need to work together. We want to work together. We want to create our own strong economy. We want to grow. And that's how we can help them, producing something new together with them for the global market. Yes, you can ask. Well, our calls are open for everybody. Of course. Well, I cannot completely agree with you, because all the programs that we have are open for everybody living in Sweden. So everybody that lives in Sweden that has an idea with an innovation proposal, they can apply to Vinnova's programs. It's not that you must have the citizenship. It's not that you must have a lot of money. It's about innovation. So the key is that. You're right. Well, you are right. We are not sending this just for the new people that just come yesterday to Sweden. You need to understand Swedish. You need to understand the Swedish society to work together with the Swedish actors, with universities.
Sorry, you don't need to
Well,
know Swedish.
Yes, we can discuss it during the coffee break. Thank you. Well, we have done a lot since 2008. We have agreements with the Ministry of Science and Technology in China. That's called MOST. We had the first call for proposals in the area of advanced and beyond 2008 as for wireless communications. It was focused on research. It was only researchers from Sweden, researchers from China, and the companies like Huawei and Ericsson were participating in the steering committee, something like that, but they didn't participate directly in the projects. We have excellent results for that program. A lot of research papers, conferences, exchange of researchers. So everybody was happy with this big interest. The scientists discovered each other and they were prepared to continue to work together even after this call for proposals financing. And 2012, we have a call for the feasibility studies in the area environmental technologies. The 13 projects for 2-3 year projects with Chinese actors. It was Swedish actors, Chinese actors, and the whole idea was this time to support more industrial cooperation. So we had always industry in Sweden, industry in China, together with researchers in Sweden, researchers in China. Yes. And last year, the Minister of Science and Technology has pointed out how important is the industrial participation in these international programs. And we're very happy with that, and working together with them to increase the collaboration between industry partners in both countries. So what's the status to date? We have August 2017 signed an MOU that says they were during 3 years, every year we're going to have a call for proposals with MOST in China and Vinnova in Sweden. March this year opened the first call for proposals under this MOU, and we plan to open next March 2019. Discussions on next year proposal we had already 20th of June. We can agree about what are the areas of interest. This health, this transport, this applied ICT, but they're not defined in details. This is a wide area, or 3 very wide areas. Yes. And during these years, we have learned that the call for proposals evaluation process in China is quite different than in Sweden. They have a regional calls that are open before the international call, and those winning the national calls are coming to the international call, are invited, the best project proposals. That means that we need in some way to support our Swedish actors to contact the Chinese in a very late stage phase so they can apply together already in the regional calls, because they need to already know who are they going to participate with. They need time to sign a consortium agreement that regulates the relations between them, who is doing what, how they're taking care of IPR issues, how to solve the conflicts. It takes time, money, resources. So that's the reason we need to be early. And we discussed it in June, just with most about this, and they agreed. So we agreed to have this matchmaking event as soon as possible. As soon as possible for us, that means the beginning of November. So we're talking about 20 million Swedish crowns for the Swedish part, for the Swedish participants in these bilateral projects. So we plan to finance 6 event projects, 2 3-year projects, development projects. Who can apply? The companies, together with institutes or universities, and the public sector is very welcome. So preliminary days for the call. We are planning, we cannot say today we're open this day, we're planning to open it by December 2018, closing approximately May 2019. So we're targeting consortium where the industrial interests of innovation are the leading star behind the project. That's the Swedish industry for the Swedish part of the project that are interesting, the core of the project must be. And of course, they can do it together with universities, with the institutes, with other companies, with the public sector. A few words about what we are planning to do in the area of life science. Yes, this one.
Okay, hello. So Laurent Saunier, I'm the head of life science at the health division at Vinnova. And
I think it's not.
Is it on?
Yes.
No, it's on.
No.
So we have 4 areas. You can read them yourselves. What I wanted to say is that we had a prior call where we had 19 projects applying for money for 72 million crowns total. And I'm going to exemplify some of these areas for you. So these are very broad. Infection prevention and antimicrobial resistance, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Individualized health, we've seen a lot of oncology, but also medtech for adaptation of individual adaptation of processes, different types of genetic medicine. So here you have, it's a very broad area. Traditional Chinese medicine, here we have so what is known as traditional Chinese medicine, but also some food tech that could come in here. And digitalization here is where we see third type of actor, which are the public sector. So healthcare providers, hospitals who are coming into this area. It's about optimization of patient flows in hospitals, stratification of patients, so anything really where you come in with digitalization. So both digitalization of old technologies and also new technologies like AI in the new workflows. What I wanted to say too is that when we say in the previous pictures that the industrial needs need to be in focus, when we mean industry, we don't only mean heavy industry, right? So especially in the healthcare sector and probably in the other sector, which I know much less. So in this area, we have a lot of smaller companies, and they are included into what we call the industry, right? So it's private sector. So needs of the private sector, but it could also be smaller companies, right?
Thank you, Alan. Any question? Yes.
What I've been bugged about is that all these divisions into more or less narrow areas. So it implies then that Vinnova has decided that something's better than something else. And that may exclude something which in the reality actually is better, would be a better applicant for a specialist things. So for example, individual health and professional medicine could have been changed to general health in general. Why is that individualized health and precision medicine better than something that addresses general medicine or health?
Very, very good question. And I have 2 points I wanted. Very good question. First point is, so the wording of those areas has been negotiated and agreed with the Ministry of Science and Technology in China. So this is kind of
It comes from
the
China.
areas
Okay.
where
Yeah.
we could see overlaps in needs
I see.
and potential. Point number 2 is, if you feel that there is something that you would like to apply for,
Okay.
that is maybe you don't really see how it fits, give us a call and we'll talk
okay.
about it,
Okay.
and we'll see,
Okay.
or we can talk after
Yeah.
this meeting and we'll see
A comment
if it
to
does or
yeah.
it really doesn't.
A comment to number 1 point is that the Chinese authorities are also infested by these divisions of things into small fragments.
I wouldn't comment.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Okay.
No, in that case, thank you, Laura. Nästa slide.
Okay. Hear me? So traffic safety. Traffic safety for, or with the aim for Vision Zero. I wanted to just start to say that Sweden and China has been working together on traffic safety since 2012. And we have financed a research center for traffic safety. And on the Swedish side, it's led by Safer and Lindholmen, and on the Chinese side, it's by Rio. It's the Institute of the Minister of Highway. And the partners in Sweden are among like Volvo Autoliv, VTI, Chalmers, and have been working on different projects that we have financed so far. So now we have opened the first call. On the first call, you can see the first bullet is the area was included in the first call. So it's about analysis of accidents. It's about behavior inside the vehicle, but also outside the vehicle. And it's also about post-crash technology and equipment for rescue, for example. So for the next call, we'll probably have the same, but we're also working to add additional focus area. So for the current proposal, what we have submitted to most, it's safety for intelligent and connected vehicles. That's a quite broad area. And at the matchmaking event, CTS will have the opportunity to present the new roadmap they have developed. And there will be representative from each partner of CTS that you will be able to meet at a matchmaking event. So I hope you will be able to join. So I think that's...
Any question?
Any question? No.
No questions? Everything clear? No question? No. Okay. Then we can continue. Thank you, Eric. And the third area is applied ICT. But as you know, we're at the beginning of the way. We didn't agree on all the details about what do we mean with applied ICT. We agreed that we're going to have this area. And first of all, is in the area of transport. Everything related to applied ICT in the area of transport and the area of life sciences. Other areas of interest, we welcome very much your input. So maybe you can guide us what should be interesting for us to work with Chinese partners. So we're going to take this discussion later on with the most, probably in November, early November, during the matchmaking event. We are going to meet your partners, we are going to meet our partners most and discuss about the call that we're going to open at the end of this year. Well, the matchmaking event, as I mentioned, we do it just to put you in direct contact with the Chinese partners that you have already today, or you plan to have, that you would like to have. So that makes it possible for you to apply in the future to the coming calls. Will be 3 important days where you are invited to participate. That's in Beijing, November 5th, the Minister of Science and Technology and the Beijing Commission of Science and Technology to organize matchmaking event for us. They are really pushing us to send a list of participants, and we need to send it as soon as possible. Why do they need it? They need it as soon as possible because they need to find good partners for us, for you. So as soon as possible, we need to know who is going, what do they want to do, who. And the next date is November 8th in Jiangsu. The Jiangsu local government and the Science Technology Office at Jiangsu organize every year international conference, win-win, and they have 6-7 countries that they have cooperation with. One of them, Israel, they're very happy with this collaboration, and they came to Sweden to invite us to participate in this event this year, and we met them in Beijing as well with Moss this last June. So we agreed to go there, and they also promised to organize everything for us, but they need to know as soon as possible who is coming, because they want to do a good job, and we welcome, of course, that. The third date is in Shanghai. China is organizing the MOFCOM, the Ministry of Commerce, is organizing a China International Import-Export exhibition. We collaborate with Business Sweden. They has their own Montreux pavilion, and this will be the industrial big players are already there. So we're going to meet them in Shanghai. We're going to meet those companies that are there. We're going to meet the representative of the embassy as well. They're in Shanghai during those days. It's more as a bonus for you, so you can see who are these players interested in buying something from Sweden or selling abroad. It's import-export exhibition, the biggest one in China, as we know. We would like very much you also to visit this, so you can decide in the future participate it or not, or in what way. Yes, it's more an introduction. And how to register for the matchmaking, that is open already at our website. We ask you to do it before September 5th, because September 7th or something like that, we need to send it to China. Most need it, Jiangsu province needs it, Business Sweden needs it. Everybody is waiting for you. And what can you get? Those applying is only the travel grants are for the SMEs. As EU definition, SME. But other grants will cover the travel in economy class, the lodging, the hotel for one person per company. Maximum grant is up to 25,000 Swedish crowns. And you will review after the travel your real expenses, and you're going to get up to 25,000 Swedish crowns each EU. Your application is approved. Of course, there are limitations, and usually it's the budget. Yes, but we expect at least 20 grants to be confirmed to go to China together with us for these matchmaking events. What are the criteria to get approved? An application should be a company, SME. They have the intention to apply for the call for proposal in any of the relevant areas that were mentioned before. The priorities, first, do they already have a partner? So they need a physical meeting to sign the consortium agreement or something like that to finalize the project proposal. Number two is, though they have a potential project partner. They are not a partner today, but they have already. They know with whom do they want to collaborate. They need to sign those last agreements. So it should the priority two. And the third is those that want to collaborate, but they don't know really with who. Early phase. So these are the priorities to be selected to get a grant to travel to China. Yes, Liselot, could you help with the microphone, please? We got one question. There. Hey, gentlemen.
Just can you clarify, please, because you said in the earlier that the Chinese authorities have a competition to selecting companies, but would it mean that if we had a partner already in China that we would like to meet in conjunction with this, who is kind of not even involved in this yet, would it be possible to come into this program with that, or I don't understand really?
Those that do the selection is we. Vinnova is going to do the selection. Vinnova is going to approve the application. You go to Vinnova's website and you apply. So for us, interesting that you need to have an interest to participate to apply in the future in our call for proposals, because this is done to support the coming calls for proposals. Yes.
Okay.
So you are aiming to apply in the future, and you fulfill these requirements. You are welcome.
But we already would have a partner, so to say.
That's perfect.
Okay.
It's the criteria number one. You are priority one.
Okay. And then there is funding.
Yeah. Okay. But different processes. One is to get the travel grants, and other is the coming call for proposals.
Hi, I'm Gulshen from the law firm Vinnova. I just want to ask, could you describe a little bit more in detail how this matchmaking event will be carried out? Will be like one-to-one, or will be a conference? In which format?
That's a very good question. And actually, this is the first time we're going to do it. So I never seen how it will be done. I cannot describe you how it will be done. I hope that we one-to-one, because that's the reason why we're waiting for the list of participants. That's the reason they're waiting for list of participants. That's the reason they need to look for partners for these coming companies to China. So it needs to be one-to-one. But how will exactly be done in Beijing or in Jiangsu, I cannot tell you today, I'm afraid. And I know that won't be the case in Shanghai. In Shanghai, you're going to visit an exhibition and looking for yourself. So that's the status today. And it's, we got this possibility 20th June, just before midsummer. We organized this meeting as soon as we could. Just the earliest days, as you see the people missing here of the team. So still around summer holidays. We need to provide this list already at the beginning of September. So we're on hurry. But we think it's worth, because previous experience, the old calls we have with most before, they show we need to support you to find partners as early as possible. And that's the best way we can do it today. We will see, evaluate how it will work it well, we do the same thing the next year. Doesn't work, we need to think another way to work, maybe other partners, we will see. So that's the best way we can do it today. Okay, yes,
Yeah, for small companies and even medium-sized companies, the time is very important, not 25,000 actually.
I know.
Both, you know that. And from my previous experience, matchmaking, it will be much easier if there is a list, potential partners on both sides, that I'm sitting here in Sweden and go through the list and find if there is some potential partner to contact them. Because in this case, we assume SMEs has already established or started some collaboration with the company, while it's not necessarily in general. So my suggestion is, I expected that there is a list, and I went through the website several times. I didn't find. So it's very difficult for me just to spend a week.
I completely agree with you, and that's the reason we are doing it with hurry. We want to do as soon as possible, because they are also waiting. It's the moment 21, They want to know who's coming, and you know who's waiting for you.
Okay, so, but we can start from here. If you just develop a list already from today to put the name, company, and the working area, and send it there, and receive from there something, it can be at least.
There is with the website, when we apply to participate in the matchmaking event, you will put there who is or what you want to do.
Okay.
It's already in the site.
Okay.
It's available from yesterday, I think, evening.
But it is not binding that I will. Just
no, it was yesterday evening.
Just
sorry.
You that this company. Okay.
No, that will be perfect. Why not? Who want to meet? Yes, Custom there first.
I just wondered, is it possible to have an SME from Sweden and an authority in China, or does it have to be? Is there any?
For us, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
For us, important the SME in Sweden participates, but the Chinese authorities may have some. For the matchmaking, not. But for the call, I know they most want to have also a company in China, together with some university or institute. Okay.
Yeah, and then probably the university can help
yes,
find
of course.
a partner as well. Okay.
Sorry, 1 second, the microphone.
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
The first one is about the 2+2 in the beginning of the eligibility. Do you have to be one company and a university from Sweden plus a company and university from China, or what does this mean?
Yes, that's the meaning with 2+2. Okay. We want to have first a company in Sweden, second university institute in Sweden, and the public sector is welcome. And according to most, they want to have the same. That's the reason we put 2 plus 2.
Okay, so you basically need 3 partners.
4, see?
Or
4, 2 partners here in Sweden, 2 partners in China. So you should be 4.
Yeah, as an SME, you have to find 3 additional partners to apply. And then the question was, so I have already potential partners in China, but in the interest of time, we were planning that I would go and visit in October. Would I be able to apply for these travel grants to do my own matchmaking event, or do I have to adhere to the 3 different dates of the organized matchmaking?
Well, these grants are for those that are going to these 3 places during those days.
Okay.
So you can ask your partners to be in Beijing those days you're visiting. And you can meet them there.
Yeah.
You don't maybe need to go in October, you can fly there in the beginning of November. But it's up to you.
Okay.
You
but
decide.
If I would fly to Shanghai in October, I would not be eligible
Not.
for applying. Okay, thank you.
Welcome. We have a question here.
I have also a question about this creating consortium, and you said something about that the SMEs and university researchers can do it. Do they need to have a connection from the same, or it can be some? I mean, that what is the role of the researcher from Sweden? I mean, the research institutes or university from here. They should
What's
have a sort
up
of
to you and the
innovation.
company? What are you going to do together? Why the company should have you in the team?
Exactly.
So it's up to the company and you to decide how are you going to collaborate in the
Company,
project.
Yeah. So it is also the company who approached the university.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the idea.
That's
But often usually happens just the opposite.
yeah. Yeah, well, I'm
That's
at
life.
the Lund University and I work at the innovation system. So that's a question that we have both small companies and also the researcher that they have developed some. Yeah, and also something about related to that. You say that this consortium agreement will be done, and of course the question about the IPs will
Yes,
be
of
regulated there, and that's the thing that I think that many of our companies and researchers are very concerned about that part. How do we be, and who is the one that who helped for this agreement for the consortium? Is it if Vinnova is involved in that, or it is up to the partner to make this?
Yes, up to the partners. Up to the partners, and it's a requirement from both sides. Before, Chinese side had not this requirement. Now, most Ministry of Science and Technology is requiring all international projects to have a consortium agreement already when they apply. When they apply, that means that's the reason why we need to have these meetings as soon as possible, because you need to meet them, you need to sit down, agree on the consortium agreement. It takes time. One question. Yes,
Can
please.
I have one one more question? Yeah. What I maybe I haven't followed 100%, but it's a little diffused. So a project can be technical, innovation. You started with that, and there could be patents, and there could be products, and there could be, but other projects could, and that I assume is eligible. But could it be like a development of production? Development of organization and things like that, which is a little bit different from innovation, but still would be needed in the
Well, innovation process is welcome, but they should be during the applied ICT, I think, first of all, maybe in the area of transport, I don't know, or life sciences, but innovation process is innovation, yes, as well.
Okay, but I mean, for us, it would seem that organization, development of production processes, something like that would be which is not really a new innovation, but actually something different. Is that eligible?
And that's the main question. It should be innovation.
What do you say?
That the main question is that should be innovation.
Yes.
If it's not really innovation, it's technology transfer. We don't support technology transfer. If it's marketing activities, we don't support marketing activities purely. We don't support you finding a channel for selling your products. So we don't do that.
No,
that's important to know as well. But if it's innovation, please, you're welcome to apply.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I have 2 comments.
Yes.
One is I'm from SweCare. It's a semi-governmental foundation working to promote healthcare and life science internationally. And we work with Business Sweden. But we have a lot of member companies. So if anyone is interested in getting in touch with some of them, not all of them are interested in China, of course, but I can probably help with some contacts. And also we've been working rather extensively with the Jiangsu province, and we have a lot of contacts with the local Ministry of Health and so on. So we can probably also help with contacts there.
That's excellent.
And the second thing is that the Chinese Embassy and Sweden-China Trade Council in Sweden and SweCare is organizing a conference that will also have some matchmaking, and life science will be the focus area for the second day. And I think that's the 12th of November, so just after the matchmaking trip. So you're welcome to come to that. It will be at Stockholmsmässan. Okay.
Thank you so much for your introduction. I'm sure that many people are interested in your activities.
Yeah, you had a slide about ICT, and I became a little bit confused about two abbreviations, LS and TBD. I couldn't find what
is to be decided. The LC is life sciences. LS is life sciences.
Life sciences, okay.
Yes,
TBD.
and to be decided, well, we have defined two areas. There's applied ICT in the area of transport, applied ICT in the area of life sciences, and we don't know more because we couldn't agree on all the details. But we can go back to the Chinese Ministry of Science and Technology and discuss with them what should be more included, but then we need to know your interests. So you have some additional interest in the area of applied ICT, you're more than welcome with your applications or your ideas. Call us so we know what you want to do. So we can discuss with most include this, if possible, in the theme for the coming call for proposals.
Is it industrial productivity interesting for you to enhance by using ICT?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
No more questions just now?
Can I just ask whether like a consultant or service provider has some way to participate in this kind of event?
As partners for the SMEs. You are welcome to participate, but you cannot apply for grants, yes?
No, I understand. Yeah.
But you're more than welcome. And something to remember is the dates, yes? The last day of August is the last day to apply for travel grants. And the 1st of September is the last day to register for the matchmaking event. We need to know because you need to get an invitation from China to visit China. And our partners in China are going to provide these invitations. But doing that, you need to register. And you always can get in touch with us and the program director for the collaboration with China at Vinnova. We have my colleagues here with me, so you've met today. And we have one colleague more, Amy Falk. She's in holidays just this week. But she is more than willing to get in touch with you, talk all the details about the life sciences area collaboration with China. We will stay here after the meeting, so you have more questions, we can take it outside, or now you want it. Yes, one more question.
Thank you. It's about the funding. So you said that we have 20 million Swedish crowns for the 6 to 8 projects on the Swedish side, but the overall project cost, how much is available on the Chinese side?
Or is the same.
Okay. So the overall project cost can be about twice.
Yes, and the project cost maybe can more. Yeah, you're supposed to provide a part of the financing by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
You have 20 million from Sweden, 20 million from China. Maybe the total cost of the project is 80 million.
Okay, is there how much does the SME need to provide in terms of the percentual costs?
Well, this you know, you need to get the guides how state support rules in Sweden, but the SME is usually up to 50%.
Okay.
A professor from China wants to talk. Yes, very welcome.
One question concerning the number of project partners in consortium. Would 3 partners or more than 2 partners are allowed? That would be.
The minimum is 2 partners in each country.
Minimum, right?
That's the minimum. But you can get a lot.
Oh, it can be, okay.
But please don't do it. It's a lot of work for the administrator. Well, if you don't have any questions just now more, I want to thank all of you and the people following this presentation through the webcast. I'm open, and my colleagues as well, to discuss with you right now all your questions, and we will try to answer as best way we can. And in the future, you can send a mail. We used to answer very soon, or call us. Thank you so much for coming.